As cameras begin rolling on tales of Heavenly City, Sukai finds himself once again at a familiar intersection where professional momentum and lingering public conversations collide. The set itself is calm, disciplined, and focused, a world governed by scripts, schedules, and creative intent. Yet beyond the studio walls, renewed online discussions begin to surface, reminding fans how quickly old narratives can reappear when a new chapter starts. This time, however, Sukai is not walking into the spotlight alone. Standing beside him as a central partner in the story is Tan Songyun, an actress known not only for her talent but for her grounded presence and emotional intelligence on set. From the very first day of filming, their dynamic draws quiet attention, not for spectacle, but for balance. Crew members described Sukai as deeply focused, arriving prepared, rehearsing extensively, and showing a level of restraint that suggests maturity rather than urgency. Tan Songyun mirrors that same professionalism. She is attentive during table reads, thoughtful in discussions, and known for gently anchoring scenes with emotional clarity. Together, they create an atmosphere that feels steady, even when the noise outside grows louder. As behind-the-scenes images begin circulating online, familiar rumors resurface, old accusations and unproven claims that have followed Sukai before. Words like gambling, infidelity, and slander appear again in comment sections, often stripped of context and amplified by repetition. What's notable, however, is how disconnected these conversations feel from what is unfolding on set. Those working closely with the pair speak of routine, not disruption. Scenes are completed on schedule. Direction flows smoothly. The collaboration between Sukai and Tan Songyun becomes one of the production's quiet strengths. Their interactions are professional, respectful, and emotionally grounded, qualities that do not go unnoticed by directors and crew. Tan Songyun, in particular, becomes an unspoken stabilizing presence. While she never addresses rumors publicly, her demeanor sends its own message. She treats Sukai as a professional equal, engages openly in creative exchanges, and maintains the same warmth and focus she is known for across projects. To many observers, her willingness to move forward without hesitation speaks volumes. Fans begin to notice this as well. Online discussions slowly shift from speculation to observation. Viewers comment on how comfortable the two appear in rehearsals, how naturally their scenes come together, and how their chemistry feels rooted in trust rather than performance. For some, Tan Songyun's involvement reframes the conversation entirely, not as an endorsement of rumors, but as a reminder of reality within the industry. In an environment where reputations matter deeply, collaboration is rarely accidental. Production teams calculate risk carefully. Casting decisions are deliberate. The continuation of filming, the absence of disruption, and the visible harmony between leads suggest a level of confidence that internet narratives often overlook. As weeks pass, the energy on set deepens. Sukai is seen reviewing scripts late into the evening, occasionally discussing scene motivations with Tan Songyun after hours. Their conversations are quiet, focused on character arcs and emotional transitions. There is no sense of distraction, only immersion. Meanwhile, the online landscape begins to change. Fan edits emerge highlighting subtle moments between the two characters. Costume symbolism and plot theories replace rumor threads. Viewers speculate about story outcomes rather than personal lives. The noise doesn't disappear, but it competes with something stronger, visible progress and creative output. Tan Songyun's fans also weigh in, noting her consistent professionalism and calm judgment. Many express trust in her choices, pointing out that she has always selected projects based on substance and integrity. Her presence alongside Sukai becomes, for some, a quiet vote of confidence in the work and the environment surrounding it. What unfolds during this period is not a dramatic confrontation with controversy, but something far more subtle, a redirection. Instead of statements or rebuttals, there is consistency. Instead of spectacle, there is steady effort. Sukai's response to renewed talk is not reaction, but repetition of discipline. Tan Songyun's response is not commentary, but continuity. As filming enters later stages, the project takes on a life of its own. Tales of Heavenly City is no longer just a headline. It is a completed body of work in progress. Scenes are refined, emotions sharpened, relationships on screen strengthened through trust built off screen. When cameras eventually stop rolling, what remains is not the rumor cycle, but the record of collaboration. Viewers will judge what they see, the performances, the story, the chemistry shaped through long hours and shared focus. In that moment, the loudest voices will no longer be those repeating old claims, but those reacting to what unfolds on screen. For Sukai, this chapter becomes a testament to endurance. For Tan Songyun, it reinforces her reputation as a steady force who lets work speak louder than words. Together, they move forward not by denying the noise, but by outlasting it. And as Tales of Heavenly City prepares to meet its audience, the story that truly matters is no longer about renewed talk, but about what was created quietly and deliberately while the world was busy watching something else. As post-production quietly begins to take shape, the conversations around Tales of Heavenly City enter a new phase. The intensity of filming gives way to editing rooms, sound design sessions, and careful review, where performances are no longer fleeting moments on set, but preserve frames that will soon be judged by millions. For Sukai and Tan Songyun, this stage feels both distant and deeply personal. Those who have seen early cuts describe a noticeable shift in Sukai's screen presence. There is restraint where there once was intensity, silence where there might have been excess. His portrayal carries weight without force, suggesting an actor who understands that sometimes the most powerful moments are the quietest. Many credit this evolution not only to experience, but to the environment he worked within, one shaped by mutual respect and emotional clarity. Tan Songyun's performance, meanwhile, is described as grounded and luminous. She anchors scenes with subtle expressions and timing that feel instinctive rather than rehearsed. In moments shared with Sukai, there is a sense of balance, neither overpowering the other, neither retreating. Their partnership reads as equal, deliberate, and emotionally credible, something increasingly rare in productions driven by hype. As word of mouth spreads, the tone online continues to change. Viewers who once focused on controversy begin discussing character depth, emotional pacing, and narrative cohesion. Fan forums dissect scenes rather than headlines. Short clips shared on social platforms highlight moments of stillness, exchanged glances, pauses that feel intentional rather than accidental. What becomes increasingly clear is that time has done what arguments could not. The steady progression of work, combined with Tan Songyun's unwavering professionalism, reframes the story without ever directly addressing it. Silence, in this case, becomes a form of confidence. Industry observers quietly note how rare it is for a project to remain so intact amid renewed public scrutiny. No sudden cast changes, no delayed releases, no whispered tension behind closed doors. Instead, the production moves forward as planned, suggesting that within professional circles, trust has remained unshaken. For Sukai, this period feels like a recalibration rather than a comeback. There is no dramatic reinvention, no loud declaration, just continuity. Showing up, delivering, repeating the process day after day until the work stands on its own. Tan Songyun's role in this journey is subtle but undeniable. By treating the collaboration as purely professional, she helps center the narrative where it belongs. As trailers edge closer to release, anticipation grows, not fueled by scandal, but by curiosity. Viewers want to see how the story unfolds, how the characters evolve, how two seasoned actors translate quiet dedication into visible emotion. The shift is gradual, but unmistakable. In the end, Tales of Heavenly City becomes more than a project caught between rumor and renewal. It becomes an example of how work can absorb noise and emerge intact. How partnership can steady momentum. How consistency can soften doubt without ever confronting it directly. And as audiences prepare to watch, the question is no longer about what was said online, but about what appears on screen. The answer, shaped through months of focus and restraint, is finally ready to speak for itself. As the first official promotional materials begin to surface, the conversation reaches a quiet turning point. Posters appear, teasers drop, and suddenly the abstract idea of Tales of Heavenly City becomes tangible. Faces, colors, and emotions replace speculation. For many viewers, this is the first time they truly see Sukai and Tan Songyun not as subjects of discussion, but as characters inhabiting a shared world. The response is immediate and revealing. Fans comment on how natural their pairing feels, how the emotional tension doesn't rely on grand gestures, but on restraint and timing. Some admit they were skeptical at first, unsure whether outside noise would affect what appeared on screen. But with each new clip, that doubt begins to fade. Soo-kai's performance draws attention for its subtlety. There is a noticeable patience in his delivery, a willingness to let moments breathe. Instead of demanding sympathy, he allows it to form on its own. For viewers familiar with his earlier work, this feels like a progression rather than a correction, a sign of an actor growing into stillness. Tan Songyun, meanwhile, earns praise for consistency. Critics and fans alike point out how she never seems to chase attention within a scene, yet somehow commands it. Her expressions are measured, her reactions precise. In scenes shared with Soo-kai, she doesn't shield or overshadow him. Instead, she meets him exactly where the story requires, creating a rhythm that feels earned rather than manufactured. Behind the scenes, promotional interviews remain focused strictly on the work. When asked about collaboration, both actors speak about trust, preparation, and shared understanding of the story. There are no personal detours, no defensive explanations, just calm acknowledgement of teamwork. This restraint resonates more than any statement could. Online, the shift becomes undeniable. Rumor-driven posts receive less engagement, while clips and performance analysis trend upward. Fans create edits centered on dialogue delivery, emotional beats, and symbolic moments. The narrative has moved not because it was forced, but because attention followed substance. Industry insiders quietly observe how this transition happens almost organically. No damage control campaigns, no public clarifications, just time, consistency, and visible effort. For Soo-kai, this period solidifies something important, credibility rebuilt not through denial, but through repetition of discipline. For Tan Songyun, it reinforces her reputation as a partner who elevates projects simply by staying grounded. As release day approaches, anticipation settles into something calmer and more focused. Viewers are no longer waiting for answers to rumors, they're waiting to experience a story. The noise that once threatened to dominate the moment now feels distant, almost irrelevant. In the end, what remains is not the echo of controversy, but the imprint of collaboration. A project shaped by patience, steadied by partnership, and delivered without spectacle. Whatever conversations continue beyond this point will do so alongside a finished work, one that stands complete, unshaken, and ready to be judged on its own terms. And when audiences finally sit down to watch, they won't be revisiting old questions. They'll be meeting the story as it was always meant to be seen, through performance, not perception.